Welcome into another episode of Chic and Ball. I'm your boy Els the Truth, and on today's show, we got an updated version of players transitioned in the transfer portal. And we doing this thing in alphabetical order. We hope you can stay for the full video, but feel free to skip ahead to your favorite teams. But let's get this thing started in Arizona. The Arizona Wildcats signed Sanaya Jai, and she's coming off a championship with the South Carolina Gamecocks. They also signed Katarina Nazivic, made an appearance with the Serbian national team. They also got Malene Wolf out of Germany, and also Paulina Paris, who averaged 6 points for the North Carolina Tar Heels last year. And they also signed Lauren Swan, 5'7" guard out of Brooklyn, New York. The Auburn Tigers pulled off one of the biggest signings of the offseason, bringing in Talia Scott. She averaged 22 points for the Arkansas Razorbacks last year and was one of the best players in college basketball. They also snatched up Deanna Gaston, who spent their last 4 years with the Texas Longhorns. They also announced 2 freshmen, Jordan Hunter and Syria Daniels, joining the team. And now we have a key signing from the Baylor Bears. Former Colorado Buffalo star Erinette Von Lay has chose to go to Baylor, pairing with Lady Vasconcelos, 6'7" Brazilian. The Iowa Hawkeyes looking to restock the cabinets any way they can, bringing in Lucy Olsen, one of the top scorers in the nation last year for Villanova. And now let's move on to the Kentucky Wildcats. They make some key signings, the biggest one being Georgia Amore coming over from Virginia Tech. They also grab up Tiana Key, sister of Tamari Key, former Tennessee Lady Volunteer. They also signed big guard, 6'2" Lexi Blue. Can't wait to see her play. And no, they ain't stopped there. They also brought in Clara Strack from Virginia Tech and announced 3 freshmen coming in, Tanaya Baker, Clara Silva, and Amelia Hassett. But now let's get to my dogs, my second team, the LSU Fighting Tigers. They signed Cheyenne Day Wilson, ACC All-Freshman, spent 2 seasons at Duke, last year at Miami, Florida, where she averaged 12 points. They also signed Miracle Shepard from Mississippi State. She had that big game on Haley Van Lith coming off the bench, so Kim Mulkey kept that in mind this whole time. They also signed Kaylin Gilbert away from the Arizona Wildcats. She averaged 15 points for them last year, gonna be suiting them up for the Fighting Tigers. But now let's move on to the Maryland Terrapins. They signed Kayleen Smickle, who averaged 17 points for the Rutgers Scarlet Knight last season. They also get Sarah Tibiasu, who spent her last 4 years at VCU. And this just in, Amara DeBerry, former UConn Husky, announced that she'll be also going to Maryland. The Michigan State Spartans signed Grace Van Sluten, former Pac-12 All-Freshman. She spent her last 2 seasons with the Oregon Ducks, where she averaged 14 points. Before we talk about my Ohio State girls, please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video. But my Ohio State girls made 3 signings. They're going to be bringing in freshman Jelani Cambridge out of Nashville, Tennessee. She's the 2nd highest rated player in this incumbent freshman class, the highest recruited player that's ever chosen to play for Ohio State, and we are very much looking forward to seeing her in the scarlet and white. They also pick up Chance Gray, who spent her last 2 years in the Pac-12 with the Oregon Ducks, where she averaged 12 points. And then of course, Ajay Petty, she spent 2 years at LSU, the last 2 seasons at Kentucky, where she averaged 14 points. But now let's talk about the TCU Horned Frogs as they signed Haley Van Lith. Congratulations to her on this decision. We all hope and want to see her get back to the level she was at Louisville. But now let's talk about the Lady Volunteers, who pulled in 2 key transfers, the biggest one being Alyssa Latham from the Syracuse Orange. One of the top freshmen in the nation. We'll talk more about her on a future podcast, so lock in for that. And Lazara Spearman, she spent her last 2 years at Miami, Florida. But now I want to tell you about the Texas Longhorns, because they made a big signing, getting Layla Filia, who spent her last 3 years with the Michigan Wolverines, averaging damn near 17 points. A beautiful scorer to pair with Maddie Booker. But now let's talk about the UConn Huskies. And once again, the rich get richer and smarter, because they signed Ivy League Princeton star Caitlin Chin, and she a baller. She gonna fit in real nice with that team. But now let's talk about the USC Trojans, who probably got the biggest fish of them all, Kiki Iriafen. Formerly with the Stanford Cardinals, she chose to go close to home and pair with Juju Watkins. They also bringing in freshman Brooklyn Shamblin, another local kid, a lot of LA talent on this team. But that is it for all the transfer portal news that we have today. Make sure you lock into this channel for WNBA training camp roster updates. I appreciate each and every one of you for listening and watching. I'm Els the Truth for PR and them. Talk to you on the next one.